Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. We're out on the range today, very cold, windy day, so please bear with any wind noise you hear in the background. But we're about to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and it's basically, we're going to have a little bit of redneck ingenuity, but we're basically going to set up some sheetrock and simulate maybe if you have to use a firearm for home defense, firing through interior walls. Most houses, the interior walls are not insulated, as our setup today will not have insulation in it. Now, I think it was Paul Harrell that done a video where he chronographed some rounds going through sheetrock and insulation, and the insulation did not even slow the bullet down compared to one round to another. There's a few feet difference, but nothing that's going to matter. So even if you have insulation in your walls, the results are not going to be basically any different. But we've got some very common rounds, and that we're just going to try and see how they perform, how they compare with walls through penetration, because you got to understand, in a home defense situation, you have to know which direction you're shooting, because that bullet's going somewhere. So that's why one of the most important rules is know your target and what's behind it, know the direction you're shooting, and we're going to see how certain rounds will stack up against sheetrock. We're getting ready to get started. I've got some sheetrock here. I've actually got 8 pieces stacked up simultaneously, so that will represent basically 4 interior walls. So we're going to start out with the M&P 22 compact. I'm just using the I think it's the Remington, the Golden Bullet. It is a hollow point, which I don't know if we'll get a hollow point expansion out of the barrel length of a pistol anyway. But we're going to try hollow points against this sheetrock and see what happens here against the M&P 22 compact 22 LR. Let's see how she performs. You can see the entry point here, and as she moves the camera here, the 22 LR. All 8 pieces of sheetrock. I'm going to bump it on up to 9mm, and I'm going to start out with a round that I carry quite often, in 9 or 40. This is a 9mm Hornady Critical Defense, and then I'm also going to shoot it with a very common round, the Spear Gold Dot 147 grain. And then I'm going to try these. I don't have a lot of experience with these. I test them just a little bit, but these are known for their expansion. So this is one of these Norma rounds, so I'm going to try this as well against the sheetrock and see how they perform. I'm going to start out with the Hornady Critical Defense first, then the Spear Gold Dot, and then the Norma rounds. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to shoot all 3 of them, but the way this is set up, the wind's knocked it over a couple times when a gust comes through here. So if I shoot it once with the Hornady and it knocks one of them over, I'll stop it, then shoot the other 2. Now, what I've done this time, because not that people don't defend their home with a 22, but even if you shot a 22 with a water jug without anything, it's not going to do much. What I've done with the 9mm rounds is I've actually set up a couple water jugs behind all the sheetrock. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to hit them or not, but I set 2 side by side, and the sheetrock's still quite a bit wider than the water jug, so I'm not sure if I can hit one, but I'm going to try to kind of simulate the velocity and the power that a handgun round will still have through sheetrock. And again, up next is the Hornady Critical Defense with the FTX tip, so not sure if it will get any expansion out of sheetrock, but if any of them will, it'll be this one because of that FTX tip. Let's see how she performs. Now, this was 9mm with this sheetrock, and we did have some issues with them falling over. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if she can come here a little bit closer, look at here. We've got a couple pretty good holes from the 9mm. You can still see the 22, the 9mm. And look at here. This is the point, basically, I was trying to make with this video. And then when I get back to the house in warmer conditions, I want to talk to you a little bit more really why I made this video. But you can see the devastation of this water jug, and I hope the camera caught it because I could sure see it while I was shooting, of the velocity hitting these water jugs and causing the velocity to explode these water jugs. So what I'm saying is Basically, if somebody thinks that their round won't penetrate through interior walls, I'm afraid they're going to be sadly mistaken. So I've got a few more things in mind. I'm going to try to shoot if this sheetrock will hold up, and let's see how the next round does. We don't edit videos, so when I make a mistake, I make a mistake, and I want to apologize for not having my shooting glasses on. There's no excuse. I don't care if I am here and it's cold and we're in a hurry to try to get things set up. I should have had safety glasses on, and I encourage you, anytime you're out on the range shooting, please wear ear and eye protection. Have my ear protection, but no eye protection. I'm hopefully, Lord willing, going to get to the Norma round, but the main reason I want to do this video was for the 5.56 and the 22 LR. I'll explain more later, but I want to make sure that my sheetrock holds up for this test, and if the sheetrock will let me, I will go back to the Norma rounds. But I did get the Hornady and the Spear Gold Dot rounds, and I'm going to try this real quick with the 5.56. This is your typical XM 193 ammo, so let's try it here and see how she performs. You can see it's cold, it's damp out today. We've had a lot of rain. We had to use this towel. Some of the sheetrock had got a little bit wet on the side. But if she can spin around here, I want you to look at what the 5.56 done to the last piece of this sheetrock. I'm not sure if she can get the right angle. And then it didn't work out like I wanted, but if you can see the water jug, they were together like this, and it somehow cut right in between them and just kind of nicked it. But I still think you can see the force and velocity that it had coming through. I wish I had more sheetrock and a little more time today. I've got to go into work, but you can see 8 pieces of sheetrock. Even though it just nicked that water jug, it blew water out, had plenty of velocity. But like I said, the odds of that going right in between them like that and just nicking is pretty slim, but I still think it makes the point. We're going to try the Norma round. We got the sheetrock up. I got one more test after this, so I'm hoping we can get another round out after the Norma. But here's the Norma, highly expansive 9mm round. Let's try it out. Slide lock black, we're clear. You can see the Norma round. Even though it's supposed to, they advertise its expansion. I've tested a little bit. I've got one of the tests I did on video. Even though it's supposed to expand, and we know expansion hinders penetration, but even with a highly expanded 9mm round, I'm sorry I can't even talk today, trying to hurry, you can see it had no problem through 8 layers of sheetrock, plus hit that water jug. Apologize for the sheetrock powder that's all over me, but this is what we're going to try with a 12 gauge shotgun. And I know if you are using a shotgun from home defense, this is probably not what you're using, but we're running out of time. The sheetrock is failing on us. Hopefully we'll maybe try to do some more of this testing in the spring when it warms up a little bit. But I think you get the point. If 22 LR and 9mm making it through, I think the test for slugs and double lock buck will be pretty obvious. But we're going to try these light load, target load, 12 gauge, 7.5 shot from Winchester, and let's see how it performs against sheetrock. Here we go. Let's see how sheetrock stops bird shot. Like I'd mentioned, if you're using a shotgun for home defense, even if you're using bird shot, I can guarantee you're probably not using low brass 7.5 target loads. But this is the point I've made several times about when people say bird shot's not capable round for home defense. This is what I'm talking about. Now, as bird shot, as you increase the distance, as you know, bird shot expands. But at close quarters combat, you can see I've got big hands. I'm a big guy, and you can tell the wound channel there is pretty significant. If she steps on around here, you can see a little bit of expansion right here as far as the pattern. Instead of all being grouped together, you can see some of the pellets starting to expand. I'm going to lay my shotgun down here real quick. And as you can see, our sheetrock's about had the lick here. I've got some more back home I can fix up or cut up and do another day. It's starting to expand, as you can tell here. Let me grab a couple more sheets here. Now, you can see it did not make it through the 8th layer. So, really the only round that can be stopped by sheetrock that you're going to use for home defense is going to be birdshot. Now, like I said, maybe Lord willing in the spring we'll come back and do some more testing. What would happen if you used number 5, or if you used a small pellet buck like number 4 buck, or if you used other high brass rounds. But the sheetrock did stop the birdshot, but I'm going to go back to the house and we'll talk a little bit more about this. But just because it stopped on the 8th round, you've seen the first few rounds it penetrated right, or the first 2 sheets of sheetrock, it went right through. So you never take chances with the firearm. Here's something pretty neat. Here's the wadding. I just found the wadding. That's pretty cool. So you never take chances with firearms. Don't think, well, I've got birdshot. It won't penetrate through a sheetrock and fire toward the direction of a loved one. You never take chances with firearms. But as you can see, it still stopped in the sheetrock where the 22 LR penetrated right on. We'll go back to the house. I've got to go into work, like I said, but we'll go back to the house later, warm up, and we'll talk a little bit about the results today. It made it through 7 layers of sheetrock, but if you look here, you can see all these little tiny pellets, and I want to show you how tiny number 7 shot is, or 7.5 shot, I'm sorry. You see how tiny that is? So the tinier the shot, the easier it is to stop. Now, I want you to understand something. Hopefully, like I said, we'll do some more testing on this maybe in the spring. But when you start getting bigger shot, 5, 4, on down, all the way up to even a small buck, like number 4, the pellets start getting bigger. And with the bigger pellets, you will get more penetration. But I thought it was really neat. You can see the little pellets in here. I'll try to clean another one off here for you. You can see several little pellets here. So pretty neat results. Like I said, we had fun here today. I hate the time got cut short and our sheetrock didn't want to work with us, but we appreciate you watching, and we really had fun with this test. I appreciate my wife. She's out here froze to death. Her hands are freezing, so we're going to get back in, but we'll see you in a bit. We're back from the range. We're finally starting to thaw out and get some blood flow back into our hands and feet. Anyway, I really enjoyed that video. I was wanting to do it for a long time, but Dad had stored that stuff for me for about a month, so we had to hurry and get to the range today. I ended up having to work, and we just been really busy, so it was kind of a rushed video, which I do apologize for that. And I didn't even notice it. My wife told me when it happened, and I didn't realize it until after we got home. But even some of the sheetrock had started to fall about the time I started to shoot. I think it was with the AR. But anyway, the whole reason for this video, and I don't want you ever to feel like if you make a comment or say something that I'm going to attack you or that I'm going to try to make you feel stupid, because I hope you watch this channel enough, and especially if you're a first-time viewer, to know that I would never do that. My channel is never meant to hurt anybody or belittle anybody or make you feel stupid. It's not that at all. I basically want to be like Mythbusters. What I want to do is just, because a lot of people, and they've even commented, several of you have, about the videos that we do at the range, that you appreciate them because you can't do them. You may be able to go to a range, but if you live in town or whatever, that you don't have a farm you can go to, like I'm blessed to have at my dad's. So if you go to the range, you're on a flat range shooting paper targets. You're not allowed to shoot stuff like sheetrock and tannerite and fruit and meat targets and water jugs and all this stuff, and cinder blocks that we've shot many times in the past. So we're very blessed in that. But we did get to the range and try to hurry. But the reason I wanted to make this video, and again, it's not if you've left a comment in times past or even on a forum or somewhere else, or if you've mentioned this to me, like I said, I certainly don't want you to feel like this is a personal attack, because it's not. But when you hear things, and you kind of want to clear the air, okay? Because you don't want somebody to get hurt, because the thing about a bullet is it doesn't know good or evil. It has no intentions, is not taken into account. So if something happens and you fire a shot, you can't retract that bullet. You can't say, well, I didn't mean that. And and I said all that to say this. I've heard 2 quotes, basically, I might have worded exactly the same, on home defense weapons, okay? One, I had mentioned in some videos, and this is just my opinion, and you're welcome to your own opinion. You do what suits your house and your family the best. So if you have a different idea than me, that's okay. But somebody had asked me the questions that I've mentioned in videos before about home defense. What do I think when it comes to like a revolver, handgun caliber? My personal opinion is, I said, for me and my family, I don't want anything less than a .357 Magnum. I want .357 Magnum or up. Now, I understand some people may not have those options. You may have arthritis in your hand, maybe getting older, and I know I've talked to that with one individual, and he done that for years, but had to go because of age. But that's just my opinion, .357 or up. Folks have made the comment, they had said, well, I only use 9mm, and the reason I use 9mm is because it won't penetrate through interior walls. Well, if you're using a full metal jacket round nose, it's going to penetrate much more than a hollow point if it expands, which whether you get expansion or not through interior walls is debatable. But anyway, I used hollow points on all three. I used the Hornady with the FTX tip, which is very popular round. I used a Spear Gold Dot, which is an extremely popular round, and I used that Norma, and all those are known for expansion. They're known to so the more expansion you get going through a material, that's why if you're shooting, let's say, water or anything else where the bullet expands, you'll get much more penetration out of a full metal jacket than you will a hollow point if it expands. But you want that expansion for personal defense. So people think that they're using 9mm and it won't penetrate through interior walls. I don't think you're stupid at all. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'd never hurt anybody in that way. But what I don't want you to do is think that you're okay with that round, fire the round, and accidentally hurt somebody. That's why you got to know your target, what's behind it, and you cannot take chances with firearms. Like we've mentioned in several videos, you never take chances with firearms. You need to know the layout of your house, where your children are, where your family is, where your loved ones may be, if you're upstairs, downstairs. You need to know your surroundings and take that into account. And if you had to defend your life, you have to be careful the direction you shoot. And I basically made that video to prove to you and show you that even if you're not using a carbine, even a small pistol, you are going to get penetration every time through multiple layers of sheetrock. And sometimes maybe if you hit a stud or something, the effects will change, but a lot of times a 2x4 won't stop a bullet either. And then of course we enjoy it. We had a lot of fun. The sheetrock was donated to us, so we had fun with it. I tried to hurry and build something, so it wasn't a perfect setup. I wish I'd have had slots, wish I'd have had more time to have a better setup. We're just trying to do a quick video to prove the point. We're not a professional channel, but we do enjoy it, and I make mistakes. I speak wrong. I don't edit videos, so if I say something wrong, then I just say something wrong, and I just have to go back and apologize. But the other thing that we heard, and we heard quite a bit, and I don't know where this stuff gets started, and I've heard people tell me that, well, the reason I use an AR-15 is because that bullet is so small, moving so fast, that when it hits something, it just so it won't penetrate through interior walls. Part of that could be partially true when you're talking water or soft targets, okay? So, yeah, if you hit, let's say, a deer or something, or if you had to defend your life with it, that bullet moving fast, it can fragment, it can break apart. When you find, like even ballistics gel, that bullet may or may not stay together. You may find pieces here. So I'm not saying that's totally out of the realm of possibility. But what I am telling you out of the realm of possibility is sheetrock ever stopping a 5.56 round. The chances are zero. It cuts through it like hot butter. And I think I had 8 pieces of sheetrock, which that's 4 consecutive interior walls. That's this wall here, then a room, then this wall, and then this wall, then a room, then this wall, and then on down. Nobody I know has 4 consecutive rooms and 4 consecutive walls like that. But even if you do, you've seen how that 5.56 zipped through it and then hit the water jug with enough velocity to hurt or kill or injure somebody. So again, I don't think, and a lot of times people only, like I said, they don't have a chance to go to the range or don't have a chance to test these things. They only hear what they're told and they think, well, that makes sense. And a lot of times things on paper, they make sense. Like a bumblebee can't fly, on paper, and space and aeronautics looks at that bee and his wing and his weight and that thing can't fly, but not everything that sounds good and sounds like it's going to work on paper is going to work in reality. And really, the main reason we made this video wasn't trying just to prove that we're right or disprove somebody else. But we need to test theories, because when it comes to a firearm, your family's safety is at stake. And your health and well-being and safety is at stake, and those you love. So we just didn't, and I know I've got a small channel. This isn't going to reach everybody that ever owned a gun, but maybe it'll spark a decision. Maybe you can share this video with somebody, and it's not to call them out or make them feel stupid, but I want to know. I want to learn, and I don't care to tell you. When somebody knows something more on a subject than I do, I don't care to ask them. There's a gentleman that asked me about non-firearm, non-rifle, no shotgun defense for self-defense in case there's times your kid's in college or whatever and you can't have self-defense. And Lord willing, he's going to come, because I can tell you what I carry. I can tell you some knives. I can tell you some things, but I feel like he is more of a professional in that field than I am. And I don't claim to be anything except somebody trying to help you and share my information, share my knowledge, share my experience with you, and hopefully to help somebody. And I don't claim to be a know-it-all in the gun community either. I don't care a bit to tell you. When I was talking about getting to 1911, I asked Paul Harrell, I said, what's your experience? What's your thought? I wanted to know. And I care about making choices, the right choices. I want to know. So if you've got something to share, if you've got knowledge, if you want to leave me something in the description below, if there's a test or something at the range you'd like for me to do, you'd like for me to shoot, you'd like for me to test, you'd like for me to try, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your feedback. I have learned a lot from you, and I'll try to get off topic here too bad. But even that little backup gun I carry, the little North American Army, that mini revolver, that 22, people have seen me shoot it and see how inaccurate I am. My hands are so big, those little tiny sights, my eyes aren't what they used to be. I can't hit the broadside of the barn. That's just not on camera. I just can't anyway. But I've always said it's an up-close and personal gun. It's when somebody's on top of you to get them all. And somebody asked me, they said, well, if you can't shoot that at range and it's just a belly gun, wouldn't you be better off with a knife? And the more I thought about that, I thought, he's right. So, a lot of times if you have a backup gun, I'm all for that. But even if you have an old backup gun, see, I learned from you guys too, even if you have a backup gun that's tiny, that fits in your pocket, easily concealable, that you can get out and you can put, you still, if you have to be at that close a range to hit anything accurately, you may be better off with a blade. So I learned from you guys. So I appreciate you. If you would, just leave your comments below, share your experiences, share your likes and dislikes. And then we did get to the shotgun. I'm going to try to maybe do a video again in the spring, because like I said, when I had told you in previous videos that birdshot is an option that's lethal for a home defense. It's not the same as buckshot or slugs, don't get me wrong. But when I was talking about birdshot being lethal, you've seen how it hit the sheetrock and it made that pattern. That's what I'm talking about. When you're close range, it's going to do something like that. Now, the farther you get, it's going to get out. But even if you're using birdshot for home defense, I guarantee you're not using target load, low brass, 7.5 shot. But even that 7.5 shot went through, I think it was 7 layers. I have to go back and watch the video again, but I think it was like 7 layers of sheetrock. So it's still going to punch through many walls. Now, it's not going to do what the AR or the 9mm is. So that's probably your best bet as far as stopping around. But still, you can't use birdshot, especially if you're using turkey loads, or you're using number 5, or you're using BB load in your shotgun shells. Then you certainly cannot take chances. Like, well, I'm just using birdshot, it won't penetrate either. And like I said, it's not going to do what a 45 is going to do, or a 454 is going to do, or a 357 Magnum is going to do, or of course a rifle round, an AK or AR is going to do. But it's still, you never take chances with firearms. It's almost Christmas, and I wish you and your family the very best this holiday season. And I hope you know that with the kindest of heart, when I make these videos, again, it's not calling anybody out or trying to make you feel uneasy or uncomfortable. I just make these videos because I enjoy it and I like to share my knowledge. And I made some in my experience. Not that I have a great vast knowledge, but I've been around the firearms community. I like to shoot, and I like to go to the range and experiment. And a lot of times, we learn too. We watch bullets perform different ways, and we learn too. So. But I do appreciate you. I wish you and your family the very best. If you would, please leave a comment in the description below. Keep it family friendly. Would you like, share, and subscribe? We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We'd love to have you over there. Like I said, when you subscribe, when you share, when you watch these videos, it helps me. Like I said, we're monetized now, so we got ads. So when you watch it, and it just helps us, please tell your friends. And like I said, if you got any questions, anything you'd like for us to discuss, make a video about, we can sit here and have a coffee chat. maybe go to the range and shoot something for a certain caliber of round you'd like to see, if you'd like to see how a certain bullet will perform in water, or whatever it is, we do this for you. We made some great friends with this channel. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. The Kentucky Patriot, signing off.